Welcome back everyone, it is Mike from ManaHoarders bringing you a commander deck tech for the most amazing commander that Wizards has ever come out with so far, Urtet, Remnant of Memnarch. That's right, we have our first 5-color mirror commander. You can cast this commander for 3 mana. The first ability reads, whenever you cast a mirror spell, create a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token. The second ability, at the beginning of combat on your turn, untap each mirror you control, and we can pay Wooburg and tap our commander to put 3 +1/+1 counters on each mirror we control, but we can only activate this ability during our turn. The final price for this build came in at $90.57. This does not include the price of our commander, since no final price has been assigned to him just yet, since we are still in spoiler season, but this does cover the other 99 cards. Now do bear in mind, some of these prices will vary greatly depending on the quality of the cards you purchased, the vendor you used, and a variety of other factors. Now let's go ahead and dive into the deck. First up are our artifacts. Arcane Signet taps to give us 1 color of our commander's color identity. Cloud Key helps us out with some mana reduction so we can cast our artifacts even faster. Commander Sphere also taps to give us 1 color of our commander's color identity, but we can also sacrifice it to draw a card. Decanter of Endless Water gives us no maximum hand size, and it can tap to add 1 mana of any color. Genesis Chamber helps us pump out more of our mirror tokens whenever we have a non-token creature enter the battlefield under our control. Mind Stone taps for a colorless mana. We can also pay 1 and tap it and sacrifice it to draw a card. Mirror Matrix is indestructible, gives all of our mirror +1/+1, and if we pay 5, we can start pumping out 1/1 mirror tokens. Mirror Reservoir can tap for 2 colorless mana, but we can only use it for our mirror spells, and if we pay 3 and tap it, we can return a mirror card from our graveyard to our hand. Mirror Turbine helps us pump out tokens, and we can also tap it and 5 untapped mirror we control to search our library for a mirror creature card, put it onto the battlefield, and shuffle. Sol Ring taps for 2 colorless mana. And Symmetry Matrix. Whenever a creature with power equal to its toughness enters the battlefield under our control, we can pay 1, and if we do, we can draw a card. Moving on to our creatures, we do have some legends helping out our commander. Joyra Weatherlight Captain. Whenever we cast a historic spell, we can draw a card, and it just so happens that artifacts are historic, so every time we're casting them, we are getting tons of card draw. Lashio Clockwork Scholar prevents all combat damage that will be dealt to attacking artifact creatures we control, and whenever 1 or more artifact creatures enter the battlefield under our control, we can draw, but this only triggers once each turn. And Sai Master Thopterist. Whenever we cast an artifact spell, we get a 1/1 Thopter. We can also pay 1 in a blue, sacrifice 2 artifacts, and draw a card. And for our not-so-legendary creatures, Alloy Mirror taps to give us 1 mana of any color. Bronze Guardian, we included it because it gives other artifacts we control Ward 2. Copper Mirror gives us a green mana. Darksteel Mirror has indestructible. Ethereum Sculptor makes our artifact spells cost 1 less. Foundry Inspector does the same thing. Gold Mirror taps to give us a white mana. Ickerclaw Mirror has Infect, and whenever it becomes blocked, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Iron Mirror taps for a red mana. Leaden Mirror taps for a black mana. Leonin Abunus gives artifacts we control hexproof. Mirror Battlesphere. Whenever it enters the battlefield, we get 4 1/1 mirrors, and whenever it attacks, we can tap X untapped mirror we control. If we do, it gets +X/+0, and it deals X damage to the player or planeswalker that it's attacking. Mirror Convert has Toxic 1, and we can tap it and pay 2 life to add 1 mana of any color. Mirror Galvanizer pumps all of our mirror +1/+1, and if we pay 1 and tap it, we can untap each other mirror we control. Mirror Propagator, if we pay 3 and tap it, we get a token that's a copy of it. Mirror Retriever, whenever it dies, we can return another target artifact from our graveyard to our hand. Mirror Sire, whenever it dies, it creates a 1/1 mirror token. Mirror Smith, whenever we cast an artifact spell, we pay 1, and if we do, we get a 1/1 mirror token. Palladium Mirror taps for 2 colorless mana. Parcel Mirror, we can sacrifice it to draw a card. Plague Mirror has Infect and can also tap for 1 colorless. Riddlesmith, whenever we cast a spell, we can draw a card, and if we do, we discard a card. Sarcomite Mirror can gain flying, and we can also sacrifice it for some card draw. Shimmer Mirror has Flash, and we can cast artifact spells as though they had Flash. Silver Mirror taps for a blue mana. Steel Overseer, we can tap it and put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature we control. And Vidalcan Archmage, whenever we cast an artifact spell, we can draw a card. Moving on to our enchantments. Efficient Construction, whenever we cast an artifact spell, we get a 1/1 Thopter with flying. Etchings of the Chosen, As it enters the battlefield, we choose a creature type. Creatures we control of the chosen type get +1/+1, and if we pay 1, sacrifice a creature of the chosen type, target creature we control gains indestructible. Mirrodin Besieged. With the first mode, we can pump out even more 1/1 mirror tokens, and with the second mode, if we get enough artifacts into our graveyard, we can laser one of our opponents. Phyrexian Scriptures. The first lore counter gets a 1/1 counter on up to one target creature and it becomes an artifact. The second mode destroys all non-artifact creatures, and the third mode exiles all cards from all opponents' graveyards. Tempered Steel. Artifact creatures we control get +2/+2. The Flesh is Weak. Whenever it enters the battlefield, we put a +1/+1 counter on each creature we control. Those creatures are artifacts in addition to their other types, and non-artifact creatures get -1/-1. Thopter Spy Network. At the beginning of our upkeep, if we have an artifact, we get a 1/1 Thopter, and whenever one or more artifact creatures we control deal combat damage to a player, we can draw a card. For our instance, Crop Rotation. As an additional cost, we'll sacrifice a land to search our library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle. Demoralize gives our creatures menace until the end of the turn, but if we have the threshold, it makes it so creatures can't block at all. Disruption Protocol. As an additional cost to cast a spell, we can tap an untapped artifact we control or pay 1 to counter target spell. Harrow. We can sacrifice a land to search our library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield, and shuffle. Override counters target spell unless its controller pays 1 for each artifact we control. Reality Heist costs 1 less for each artifact we control. We look at the top 7 cards of our library, reveal up to 2 artifacts from among them, and put them into our hand. And Stoic Rebuttal. It costs 1 less to control if we have 3 or more artifacts to counter target spell. Moving on to our sorceries. Crippling Fear. We choose a creature type, and creatures that are not of the chosen type get -3/-3 until end of turn. Cultivate. We search our library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards, put one onto the battlefield tapped and the other into our hand. Distant Melody. We choose a creature type, then we draw a card of each permanent we control of that type. Kodama's Reach again helps us out with some more ramp. Organic Extinction. Has Improvise. We can destroy all non-artifact creatures. Rampant Growth. We can search for a basic, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. Sleep. We can tap all creatures target player controls, and they don't untap during that player's next untap step. Their Name is Death also destroys all non-artifact creatures. And Thoughtcast has affinity for artifacts. It allows us to draw 2 cards. And last but not least is our mana base. We will be including Terramorphic Expanse and Evolving Wilds to help with some of our mana fixing, but we also have 7 basic forests, 7 basic islands, 7 swamps, 6 plains, and 6 mountains. And just like that, we've reached the end of this Commander deck tech for a commander I am personally very excited to build around. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, tell your friends about us, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what commander you're most excited to see come out, and Phyrexia all will be one. I really appreciate all of your support.